Sergeant Bice with the Land Police Department. I'm going to read chapter 31, Murphy's Law. Teresa tied one end of the rope around Bonnie, while John tied the other end around the biggest pineapple plant they could find. Teresa folded Bonnie's 8 legs together first. Then they slowly lowered her into the pit. When Bonnie was close to the bottom, Teresa and John slid down the rope, one after another, and climbed into the seats. By design, the spider could walk right over the broken glass and plastic. The Zacharys would have to do better than strewn garbage to stop them. Teresa took the driver's seat and shone her father's flashlight into the tunnel that stretched before them. It too was covered in broken glass, shards of metal, and sharp scrapes of plastic. But Teresa's spider marched right over it all. "I love this thing," John said. "Her name is Bonnie," Teresa said proudly. "Good work, Bonnie," John said, patting one of her legs. The tunnel wasn't very long. After about 100 feet, they came to the wall of the laboratory, and they could hear the rushing of water above them. There was a short tunnel heading to the left and an identical tunnel heading to the right. They explored each route and discovered that both left and right tunnels ended in solid walls of concrete with iron rods to make steps. At the top of both ladders were identical steel hatches that John quickly learned were locked tight. "That's okay," Teresa said. "I've got my torch." She unpacked her welding kit and removed her torch and mask. She ignited the torch, and the whole tunnel was suddenly illuminated. They saw that someone had spray painted on the walls. Beneath the left hatch, in perfectly spray painted penmanship, were the words, "This one." Underneath the right hatch were the words, "Not this one." Well, Teresa said, "Zachary probably wrote this, so they're probably both traps, but we want to pick one." John squinted and thought as hard as he could. One must be worse than the other. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had bothered to write anything. We'd have to be pretty naive to trust him, so we could assume that this one is the most dangerous option. There's probably a mechanical trigger up there, maybe a python, but he knows we're smart enough to figure out that one. So he tried to overthink us and set the worst trap above, "Not this one." But then again, we're really, really smart. And he knows we're really, really smart, so he knows we're going to figure this out. So then he would put the worst trap above this one, except he knows what we know. "Okay, John, you could go on forever like that. Just pick one and we'll take our chances." John waved his finger back and forth between the 2 hatches until they finally picked this one. Teresa climbed up the iron rugs, slipped on her mask, and started welding. There are many specific laws that are true. One very unscientific law that feels like it is true, but is not objectively true, is Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law states that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Like when every traffic light on your route to school turns red the morning that you're running late already. But just because something feels like it is true, it is not necessarily true. Only specific laws supported by objective evidence, regardless of feeling, can be true. Teresa and John knew very well the difference between a real scientific law and a fake scientific law. And yet, after Teresa cut the lock on the hatch anyway, Murphy's Law suddenly felt very true, because they almost certainly had picked the wrong one.